A powerful storm swept Rome on a Saturday night, bringing torrential rain, strong winds, and a significant disruption in the Italian capital. The extended templates caused widespread damage, flooding streets, uprooted trees, and leading the temporary closure to several key transportation routes. The storm, which meteorologists describe as one of the most intense in the year, delivered a deluge of overwhelming the city drainage system. Within hours, several districts reported severe flooding, particularly hard hit with the historical areas along the Tiber River, where the water level rose rapidly, submerged walkway, and inundated ground floors of buildings. Rome's iconic landmark, including Colosseum and Roman Forum, was shredded streets and ray through the remote, structurally unscattered. However, the surrounding areas experienced significant water accumulation, prompted emergency service to deploy plows and barriers in the effort to diverted and rising water. Public transportation came to standstill on the storm intensified. Metro service and suspended several lines due to waterway tracks. Stranded thousands of communities. Bases faced similar challenges. Navigated flooded streets and uninterrupted blocked roads and fallen trees and debris. The city main train station terminally sound delays and cancellation. Rail service standard with advised weather conditions. Rome Airport were also affected. Leonardo da Vinci Fiumicino Airport experienced numerous flight delays and cancellation, with several incoming flights being diverted to other airports. Passengers facing long wait the confused, and airlines are working to reorganize schedule to provide updates. Emergency services were on the night alert throughout the night, responding to hundreds of calls. Firefighters were dispatched to move fallen trees and clear blocked roads, and rescue teams assisted residents trapped in flooded buildings. The city's emergency management agency set up temporary shelters to those displaced by the storm. Power outages were widespread, affected thousands of households across the metropolitan area. Utility crews worked throughout the night and restored electricity, but many areas remained without power well into Sunday morning. Authority urged residents to stay indoors and avoid unnecessary travel until the situation of stability. The Sunday morning saw in the aftermath of the storm, with the residents severely of damage. Shops and businesses in the worst hit area was closed, and cleanup efforts were underway. The mayor of Rome, Roberto Galvati, experienced this concert of the extensive damage and warned the city receive all necessary support to recover swiftly. We are facing a significant challenge, but the resilience of Rome and the citizens will see through the difficult time. He also highlighted the need to improve infrastructure to cope with such extreme weather events, which are becoming more frequent due to climate change. Experts have noted to increasing severity and frequency of storm in the region and consistent border patterns of climate change. They urged that Rome, like more historic cities, faced unclear challenges, is adapted to ancient infrastructure to modern climate realities. Enhanced drainage system, improved emergency response plan to granite investment and resilience infrastructure are among the main issues being recommended. In the coming days, assessment will continue to determine the full extent of the damage. Residents and businesses owners will begin the process of rebuild and recovery with the assistance from both local authorities and the national government. As Rome grapes with the aftermath of this powerful storm, the city is reminded of urgent need to adapt the evolving climate to ensure the safety and well-being in inhabitants in the face of increasingly Sicily is the largest island of Mediterranean and grappling with the aftermath of devastation storm that struck on Friday evening. The extreme weather event has left a trail of destruction across the island, disrupting daily life and raising concerns about the increasing frequency of such occurrences in the region. The storm, characterized by torrential rain and violent wind, resulted in widespread flooding, particularly in the cities of Catania and Messina. Streets were transformed into rivers, submerged cars, and damaged infrastructure in some areas. The water level rose quickly to residents who were trapped in their homes. This is setting rescue operations by emergency service. The Italian Civil Protection Department has reported numerous assistance of people being rescued from the rooftops to upper floors and buildings. Power outages have been widespread on thousands of households left without electricity. The storm has also caused significant damage to the agriculture sector, which has a vital part of Sicily's economy. Vineyards and olive groves, many of which were preparing for the harvest season, have been devastated by heavy rains and strong winds. Preliminary estimates suggest by economic impact could run into millions of euros. Transport networks have been severely affected, with many routes rendered impossible due to flooding and landslides. The island's main airport in Catania faced temporarily closed, resulting in numerous flight cancellations and delays. Rail service have also been disrupted for the complication situation for residents and travelers. Local authorities have declared a state of emergency and are urged residents to stay indoors and avoid non-essential travel. The mayor of Catania, Silvia Pelcler, has called to climate solidarity, emphasizing the importance of community support during the challenging time. We are facing an extraordinary water event and requires extraordinary measures, he said in the press statement. The storm in Sicily, part of a body of extreme weather event affecting in Mediterranean region, which scientists attributed to climate change. Rising era temperatures of challenges atmospheric coordination are contributing by the intense fall and frequency in such forms. Environmental experts are calling for urgent action to address climate change and mitigating the impact. As the immediate risk on real-life force continuing, the focus will soon shift recovery to rebuilding. The Sicilian government has pledged to provide financial assistance to those affected in the invest in infrastructure improvement to better withstand future storm. For now, however, the priority remains ensure the safety and well-being of all residents of the cope the aftermath of severe weather event. Venice, Italy renovated its historic canals and attitude to face a severe storm and left significant damage in its wake. On Saturday, a powerful storm system moved through the region behind the cave rain, strong winds and high tides that resulted widespread flooding across the city. The storm is the latest in series of extreme weather events and have increasingly impacted Venice. Raising concerns about the city undoubtedly with the winston of effect of climate change. The storm began early in the morning, with the intense rainfall of quickly overwhelming the city drainage system. By midnight, large portions of Venice were submerged underwater. The rising water reached level not in science informs. Acqua Alta event of 2019 St. March Square, a central landmark, was particularly hard hit with the water level rising about a meter, submerged the square, flooding nearby shops and businesses. Local authorities have anticipated the high tides and activated the most flooded barriers drainage to protect Venice in such events. However, the barrier provided infrastructure against the storm intensity. Major experienced frustration not that while most systems mitigate some damage and the clear of adaptation is sure to need protect the city in the future. It is a wake up all. The most protect is not enough on its own. We must continue investing in infrastructure to protect Venice from the increasing threat to climate change. Residents and tourists alike were caught off guard when the severity of the storm. Many of themselves wanted to keep deep water in some sinking refuge in higher ground with the fountain or winning the upper floor on building. Emergency services were deployed to assist and standard floodwaters and temporary shelters were set up to enable refuge to homes. The economic impact of the storm is expected to be significant. Venice real-life covered tourism and flooding disruption businesses operation with many shops and restaurants suffering damage on their property and inventory. Cultural landmarks including museum, historic buildings and also a risk when the water seep on a low area level causes concern among preservationists. Venice inquired geography on in terms of the car may be particularly vulnerable of flooding. The city built of networks, can low-lying island, is naturally suspendable in high tides. However, the frequency of severe and these events have increased in recent years, a phenomenon attributed to the climate change of rising sea levels. Experts warning without the significant action, Venice is facing more severe flooding in the future. Environmental action, the situation of Venice is stuck reminding of the broader impact of climate change. What we are seeing in Venice is not isolated events. It's part of global patterns of extreme weather events, becoming more frequent and severe. In the aftermath of the storm, Italian government has plunged additional resources in the recovery of enhanced flooding protection measures. Prime Minister Venice on Sunday promising swift action to support those affected to improve city defense against the future storm. Venice begins to address the recovery. Storm severe a pregnant reminder of city's fragile relationship with the future. The resilience of determination of residents converted to force from the authority to international community will be critical to ensure the historic and the wasteland challenges posed by the changing climate. A powerful storm swept through the city of Turin late last night, caused widespread damage, flooding and significant disruption of daily life. The storm, which brought heavy rain, strong winds and intense lightning in the worst of severe weather events the city experienced in recent years. The storm with a turning a little warning, beginning the light evening and intensified it rapidly. The midnight several parts of the city were under several inches of water of the emergency service were stretched to their limits responded to calls. Reports indicate numerous streets and residential areas have been severely flooded, and a Park of the Valentina, a large public park along the border, particularly hard hit. Fallen trees and debris were blocked several major roads, causing traffic chaos during the morning community. Public transportation has severely affected, with the train service deployed suspended in various parts of the city. The city's metro system also experienced partial shutdowns due to the ignition several underground system. Residential in the hardest hit area were evacuated. The precaution with the temporary shelters set up to accommodate those displaced by the flooding. Authorities have urged people to stay indoors and avoid essential travel. Non-cleanup operations are underway. The storm caused significant damage to city infrastructure. Numerous power lines were brought down by the strong winds, leaving widespread power outage affected thousands of homes and businesses. Utility companies have been working around the clock to restore electricity. Some areas are expected to remain without power for several days. Several buildings, including residential block, commercial properties, sustained structural damage from the found trees and found debris. In some areas, damage has been severe. In other abandoned buildings, unsafe prompted evacuation to extensive repairs. The emergency service, including firefighters, police, and medical teams, have been working tirelessly to manage the situation. Firefighters have been engaged in the rescue operations, helping residents rapid flooded homes include debris from the streets. The local government can activate a crisis management teams to coordinate a response effort to ensure the safety and public safety. Authorities have issued warning about the potential for further flooding and landslides, particularly in hilly areas surrounding the city. The Italian Civil Protection Department have been monitoring weather forecast and closely advised to residents to remain vigilant and prepare to additional adverse weather conditions. Despite the extensive damage and destruction, our community has shown remarkable resilience. Volunteers have come forward to assist the relief efforts, providing food, clothing, and shelters and affected to the storm. Local businesses have also pitched offering support to resources to help with the recovery efforts. City officials have promised to communities to respond to emphasizing importance working together to overcome the challenges posed by the storm. This has been a difficult time to our city, but the spirit of cooperation and solidarity truly inspiration. As tourism begins an arduous after recovery, attention is also to the long-term implementation of such extreme weather events. Climate experts have pointed the storm, the magnitude becoming increasingly common due to climate change, underscored to need the better preparedness for the resilient infrastructure. In the coming days, the immediate crisis subsided, but the will through the assistance through drainage system coordinate the force restore normally. For now, the focus remained to ensure the safety and well-being to residents, especially those who have been mostly affected by the devastation storm. Sicily, Italy's largest island, is grappling with the aftermath of violent storm that unleashed torrential rainforests, winds, and severe flooding across the region. The storm was stuck overnight, has caused widespread destruction, leaving a trail of destruction in its wake. It prompted urgent response to local authority and emergency service. The cities of Catania and Messina have been particularly hard hit, with streets transformed into rivers and homes inundated. In Catania, a major urban center, the heavy downpour led to closure schools and businesses, while emergency response working tirelessly to rescue residents trapped in their homes. A powerful storm hit Sicily. Italy caused severe weather conditions that resulted in widespread destruction across the island. The storm, characterized by the heavy rain and gale force winds, led to widespread flooding, power outage, and extensive damage to infrastructure. Local authorities report that the crises of Catania and Palermo have been hardest hit. In Catania, streets thrown into rivers and water level walls and threat ruined head. A historic center, which has usually driven to tourists and the ill-equipped emergency service, tried to cope with the flood. Videos shared on social media show cars of Mageddon residents wading throughout the waist-deep water. The meteorological service has recorded the widespread up to 100 km/h. With a fully updated the situation, trees have been uprooted, roofs and have been rapid to rebuilding, and debris is scattered to the roadway, making travel dangerous. The regional government has issued a red alert, urging residents to stay at home and avoid unnecessary travel. In Palermo, the storm led to several scenes of chaos. The local airport has temporarily closed due to flooding of the runway, leading to flight cancellation and delays. Public transportation was severely disrupted, leaving passengers unstranded. The coastal area forced the both of the storm, with the strong waves crashed against the coastline, causing erosions or damage sea defense. Emergency services are working around the clock to help those in need. In Italian, Red Crescent are mobilized to support the most affected areas, offering shelters and disrupted basic necessaries. Rescue operations are ongoing, with the reports of people trapped in their homes due to rising waters. Helicopters have been deployed to evacuate those in immediate danger. The impact of the storm on agriculture is also growing concern. Faces potential devastation. Initial estimates suggest significant group losers, which could have a long-term economic impact of the region's farming communities. Italian Prime Minister Giorgio Conte has experienced solidarity with the affected residents, planting government and the rescue to support the force recovery force. He praised the resilience of the Sicily people and the tireless efforts to the rescues. Meteorologists predict severe weather conditions to continue over the next 24 hours and advised residents to remain vigilant. The Sicily region with the aftermath of the disaster, the focus of ensuring the safety in the residents and being to arduous task rebuilding. The full extent of the damage will become clear to coming days, but for now Sicily is widespread. The storm more relentless onslaught. As the storm continued to hit Sicily, the regional authorities are deployed all available rescue to mitigate the effect. Civil protection unities are on high alert, coordinated with local municipalities to ensure the rapid response to emergency. The Italian government has pledged to immediate financial assistance to support this force, emphasizing the importance to rapid relief and long-term recovery plans. In addition to urban centers, rural areas and small towns were also affected in a disaster. In the province of Sicily, several communities have reported several flooding and landslides, complicating rescue efforts. Particular vulnerability and Picture Square village, often located in village and riverbank. Many residents were evacuated to temporary shelters set up in school and community center. The storm has also disturbed essential service across the island. Hospital and affected areas are running on backup generator due to widespread power outage. Medical teams are provided priority emergency care, additional rescue and being mobilized from the less affected regions to support local health facilities. Concerns are growing about the spread, waterborne disaster, prompting health officials and issue water safety to joint advisories. In response to the escalation crisis, international humanitarian organizations have begun to mobilize support. The European Union activated the emergency response mechanism, provided logistical and financial assistance by Italy. Neighboring countries have offered to assistance, and the term of France, Spain, and prepared to take part in the restoration work. A severe storm has swept across the island of Sicily, causing widespread devastation and significant destruction to daily life. The intense weather system, which struck on the island on the evening of May 18, brought torrential rain, gale force winds, and resulting in extensive damage to infrastructure. And local authorities have reported that the storm had left a clear show in several key roads and highways due to flooding and floodings. In the city of Catania, one of the hardest hit areas, emergency services were stretchered. They limited their response to numerous calls and aid. The city historic center, UNESCO World Heritage Site, and several buildings suffered structure damage, with some streets rendered impossible to. The regional agriculture sector has also been heavily impacted. Farmer plants around Syracuse have reported substantial crops, vineyard cities growth and olive orchard. Sicily's economy have been damaged by the yearly estimated suggested millions of euros. In the island, power grid had forced significant strain, with a widespread outage reported. Utility companies are working around the clock to restore electricity, warn that some areas against remain without base. WhatsApp have also erred, particularly in the rural communities where infrastructure have been heavily The storm's ferocity has captured the residents on social media, with drones footage showed streets uprooted, trees and cars being swept away by them. Local meteorologists have been described by the events of the most severe storms on the hit Sicily in the years, attributing an intensified to the combination of warm Mediterranean pre-show system moving across the region. Authorities have urged residents to remain indoors and avoid non-essential travel to clean up operations. Schools and public officials in affected areas have been closed, and local government and coordination with the Italian Civil Protection Department to assess the full extent of the damaging plan recovery. In the wake of the storm has not been approved in solidarity from across Italy. Numerous volunteer groups and non-profit organizations are mobilized to provide assistance in the Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni has experienced the government commitment to support the region, pledged emergency fund to resources to aid resources. The Sicily began from these natural disaster questions and being raising the power of the preparedness and resilience to infrastructure in the face of increasingly frequent and severe. The island's vulnerability to such storm underscored the urgent need to enhance disaster preparedness and sustainable development strategies to mitigate factors. For now, the focus remained to immediate relief and rebuilding efforts on Sicily. Controls of the aftermath of the storm has left in an immediate recall to landscape